6:42 op ons horlosie aan hierdie kant. Goeiemôre, good morning. Dis nou tyd vir jou sport en Arnold Geerdts gesels met Warren Iwa, 'n bergklimmer van Benoni wie onlangs geskiedenis gemaak het as die eerste Suid-Afrikaner om die gevreesde Annapurna bergspits in Nepal te klim.
Goeiemôre, good morning. Good to have you with us. Warren Eva, good morning, and nice to have you with us too. Thank you for your time this morning. When you go on these things, one of the figures you have to look at are the stats. And Annapurna has got a horrible stat when it comes to fatalities. Talk to us about that first. What is that figure on Annapurna?
Arnold, thank you for having me, and morning. So Annapurna is the most dangerous mountain in the world, rated the most dangerous mountain in the world. And when we left, the stats were 33%. So for every 3 people that summit the mountain, 1 person would die trying.
Doesn't that, when you leave, doesn't that absolutely overwhelm you?
It's hard to ignore it, sure. And it's something you don't tell your mom. But it's also, you know, it's the mountain we wanted to climb, and I suppose you put that aside and say we're going to climb it as safely as possible. We're going to mitigate the risk as much as possible. The mountain dictates a lot. It's not you don't get to decide everything, but yes, it is in the back of your mind. It has to be, and probably one of the attractions too.
When you say the mountain dictates what happens, just talk our viewers through that, because you have a certain window in the weather that you plan for. But things change so rapidly up there.
Exactly that. So we go there with this ideal plan. We want to acclimatize. Of course, we're going very high. We need to let our bodies adapt to that altitude. It takes a certain amount of time. It takes a certain amount of rotations through the mountains. So we climb to the higher camps and we come back. So we have this nicely laid out plan, only to get there and the mountain will say, well, sorry, your weather window isn't going to be in 3 weeks, it's going to be in 10 days' time. So hurry up and get ready, which is pretty much what happened to us on this expedition.
And were your bodies effectively ready? Because
Not even
you've got to do, as you were saying, you go to camp 1, stay there, come back down, camp 2, etc. And that normally, on the world's highest in the Himalayas, that's a 6-week process. Here you only had 10 days.
So we were aiming for 2 months. That's what we thought it would take us to climb. And as you say, we only had about 10 days above base camp. Were we ready? Not even close. We were hoping to do 3 rotations to as high as camp 4 and back to base camp. So what you do is you go up to the higher camps, you give your body a bit of a shock, so to speak, and when you come back, your body then produces red blood cells, and that's what absorbs oxygen and puts it into your bloodstream. So we only went on, instead of 3 rotations, we only got 1, and only to camp 2. And then we had the weather prediction came into view, and we had a big storm coming in. So as we were doing our rotations, the wind over the summit was doing in excess of 100 kilometers an hour. So it was a place that you just couldn't go. And then we had a 12-hour window, which ended up extending to about 18 hours, where that jet stream wind moved off and the storm came in. And we had that little window to get to the summit and down.
You keep talking about we. It was, of course, your partner, John Black, who, unfortunately, on the push up to the summit, decided, time out, I'm turning back.
So John and I have been climbing since 2000. We did our first expedition. I was still in school, finishing up matric, bunked 3 weeks of school, went and climbed Kilimanjaro. And I actually don't know how I got that past my parents, but I did. And that was the bug bit, and we've been climbing together for 25 years. We've summited numerous mountains around the world together. It's been an absolute...
Including K2?
Including K2 a few years ago, which was the highlight of our career, I'd say. And it was actually the goal for many years to get to that point, to get to climb these 8,000-meter peaks safely. So to have him turn around was a sad moment for me. You know, we'd like to have done it together, but he made the right decision, and a very difficult decision. And it's a lot of what these mountains are about, and why the fatalities are as high as they are, because those decisions don't get made properly. Summit fever is what we talk about.
Yeah.
Just want that summit no matter what, get there, and the summit is only halfway. You still got to get down, and most of the accidents happen on the way down. You're tired, you're dehydrated, you've been going for 12, 15 hours, maybe longer. You're exhausted, not thinking straight. You've been at over 7,000, 8,000 meters for all those hours. Your brain is tired. You're just not able to keep yourself safe. So for John to have taken all that in, considered the situation, we hadn't acclimatized properly.
Yeah.
We were pushing the limit. And with a number of those ideas in mind, or those tick boxes in mind, the risk profile is just too high. So he made the decision to turn around.
Please give us an insight into what happens when you get into what climbers call the death zone, when you are past the 7,500, 8,000. What happens to your body, and as a result, what happens to your brain?
So the biggest thing is once you go above Camp 3 on Annapurna, and normally above Camp 2 on other mountains, rescue is no longer possible. Helicopters can't fly that high, the air is too thin. The terrain makes it impossible for human rescue. People can't carry you or maneuver a body around. If you sit down in that snow and you decide you're not getting up, that's where you'll stay. That's it for generations to come. So you're going into a place where you have to keep yourself alive. You are responsible for keeping yourself moving. And as you go higher, above 7,500, into that death zone, above 8,000 meters, you're actually slowly dying. Your body cannot cope with the lack of oxygen. There's just not enough air to sustain life, and you're slowly sliding backwards. We're just guests in that thin air. You're there for the shortest possible period of time and get out. And that's really how we plan it, just to do a summit push, get to the top and back. And to stay up there for any extended period of time, you'll just deteriorate, not be coming down.
I assume in one way it's actually quite anticlimactic getting to the top, as we see you behind us here with the flag, because it's a few minutes and then it's turn around and get off.
It's exactly that. You think you're going to get up there, and everyone says, "How was the summit? How was the summit? How was the view?" But certainly I always get there thinking, "Yo, I've still got to get down. I've still got to go down all of that. I've got to get through those avalanche zones. I've got to go over those crevasses. I've got to get through all that dangerous stuff." So it is euphoric. I'd be lying if I didn't say that. It is a very special moment. I mean, everything's led up to this. The many months of preparation beforehand, the time off, the time away from family, the time away from work, all of the sacrifices made. Not only then the physical sacrifices to get yourself, drag your body up to that altitude. So it is a special moment. The view is incredible. There's no doubt about that, but it is only halfway. So it does have that is always playing in the back of your mind. And I remember John and I got to the summit of K2, this 20-year dream, and we walked onto the summit together. And the first thing I said to him is, "Well done, let's just get down." We hadn't taken a photo yet or anything, and that's just an indication of how stressful that environment is. In that moment, knowing you still got to keep yourself.
You're quite clearly a realist.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you this, and what struck me when I looked at your Facebook posts from there, and the communication this year was so good because you were able to have some very good comms. Did you send those pictures of you looking so positive and so good, thinking that your better half, Jana, and everyone else, friends and family, are going to be watching this? And did you make it look better than what it really was?
Those places, every camp, every milestone you hit is just so beautiful that we actually do always take a moment just to enjoy it. And there is that moment. There is an opportunity to just stand there and take it all in. And I think we're quite good at doing that as well, making sure. So maybe I do stand a little bit taller, make it look a little bit more relaxed. But there are also the moments where it's not. Yeah. There's moments where it's severe, and you're taking your body not only into the death zone, but you're taking it to the edge of what's humanly possible. The thought of taking the next step actually seems impossible, and you're convincing yourself to do it, yet you're still going to do it for the next 3 hours. My summit day took 19 hours from Camp 3 to Camp 3, on the back of the day before where we had done 5 hours from Camp 2 to Camp 3. We then lay in the tent for 3 hours. So didn't really sleep, just had something to eat, tried to hydrate a little bit, and left at 7 o'clock in the evening, climbed right through the night for 19 hours to the summit. So haven't slept for 3 days. We're in temperatures of -40, -45, I guess, at near the summit. And when it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you haven't slept for the last 24, 30 hours, and you're at an altitude where there isn't enough oxygen for your body to generate heat, and it's -40, it's an intimidating place.
What was one of the overriding thoughts that got you to put one foot in front of the other? If you sit here now in our beautiful warm studio and you think back, give me the one thought that got you to the top there.
I count to 4. and I think about pretty much nothing else. Obviously, I'm hoping for that summit, but I try very hard not to push to a point where, you know, that summit becomes a danger. So yes, I'm thinking I'm nearly there. I've only got a few more hours, you know. So and I just keep counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and if I can get 2 or 3 cycles of 4 before I have to rest, you know, I consider that a win. But climbing through the night, just looking forward to that sunrise.
That is
That's my goal, to climb through the night and just see that little red light come along the horizon. That's so we're so high and so far away that you can actually see the curve, and it's just a moment where you know, okay, the night is over, the daytime's coming, and that's going to bring with it its new energy, and that's really my goal.
Lastly, it sounds like this is a spiritual experience too. Does it bring it closer? Does it bring you closer to your maker?
Absolutely. I mean, these are it's a place that's hard to describe. You come back, when we were talking about it earlier, it's a place you come back with a totally different perspective. It's a very special place to be, and yeah, you really appreciate what we have and what we can do.
I am a great admirer of you and John for the decision that he made. Warren, Eva, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And kudos to you for being the first South African ever on Annapurna. Well done.
Arnold, thank you. And thanks for having me.
Great
Pleasure
pleasure.
to be here.
Pieter, ja, ek weet nou nie of dit die soort van ding is wat mens sommer oormôre sal doen nie, maar miskien sal jy.
Nee wat, hoog bo die wolke of diep onder in die aarde, ek los dit maar vir die mense, soos warm. Net hierna gesels ons met Frik van Heerden en hoor hoe hy jong mense help om hulle besighede te bou, en hy is ook 'n model.